Hey, good morning, fuckers, and welcome to another day at the Daily BM. Mikey, what's going on?
Hey, everybody, what's happening?
Just trying to get the day moving, So before we get started, I decided to have a couple of smoky old fashions last night, which I normally do not do during the week. And let's just say, since I'm not an avid drinker anymore, as far as like, having drinks like that during the week, I am turned into the biggest pussy when it comes to drinking. I'm the cheapest date ever. Probably the easiest to hook up with too.
That's a given.
Of course I'll go home with you. No, I literally I realized waking up this morning what a lightweight I am. The older I get, I'm just like, now I get it why people like, I don't understand how people drink on a daily basis. I really don't know how they do it. I have a couple of friends that do that every day.
You build up a tolerance. It's like all things. Like, that's what's wild. It's like drugs and alcohol. The first drink gets you fucked up when you don't drink. Then after you've been drink every day, your body adjusts. So now you need 2 drinks to get the same effect as 1 drink. And then it goes from 2 drinks to 3 drinks, and 3 drinks to 4 drinks, and 4 drinks to 5 drinks. And, before you know it, you're pounding a whole 12 pack and not realizing you're not getting the same effect you did on that first time. Same thing with opium and drugs, from what I've heard, that, you take that first hit and you get this stellar high. That's why they call it chasing the dragon, because you're always trying to catch back up with it from that first high, but you never do, from what I've read and what I've heard. So that's the thing, but now you do stop for a while, your body loses that tolerance.
Right.
So, yeah, it's like that with anything, like medicine and everything else, because your body's trying to run at peak efficiency. And basically, when you're adding that stuff, it's poison. So your body's trying to expel it as quick as possible, and then it adapts to the poison that you're putting in your system.
Well, believe me.
And, that's why you get people that have to pound like, a fifth of vodka before they even start to function, because they're so dependent on the alcohol.
I don't know how they do it, man, because I know I'm going to drink it. I literally just poured a gallon of water into my gallon, and I'm like, today that is getting drank. Rehydrate, feel good. I mean, I feel fine. You know what I mean? I just can tell that I had a couple of drinks, is what I'm saying. And I hate that feeling, that next day feeling of just knowing you had alcohol. Not a big fan like I used to be to alcohor.
It's been a while since I've had a drink.
Probably because I'm getting old, honestly. I mean, that's really what it probably boils down to. Is my body's like, hey, you're not 20 anymore, punk. You can't drink like that. Even 2. Just have 1. Just have 1. And preferably right after you eat,
Yeah. My biggest problem with it is right now is that it doesn't align with my goals, my fitness goals and my health goals. So I'm just trying to avoid it. That's the biggest thing for me. Like, I do enjoy like an old fashioned or a nice glass of wine.
I love a good red, man. Good red wine.
Yeah, but I just can't justify it at this moment, because I don't want to take the metabolism hit, and I don't want to, throw myself off track. So eventually I may get back to having a glass here and there.
You will.
I really do enjoy having a nice glass of red, at dinner, or a nice old fashioned after dinner.
I think it's like anything in life, though, Mikey. I think it's like all about moderation. But obviously you have goals, and you're trying to get down to a certain body fat percentage, a certain weight. So alcohol's definitely going to be a renderer or a hinderer.
Hindrance.
Get to that goal quicker. So I totally get where you're coming from there. So, but once you get to those goals and you're maintaining those goals on the daily, then you can sneak in a glass or here or there, throughout the week.
I don't even think you have to sneak it in. You can just enjoy it.
Yeah, you just enjoy it, because you're already got where you got to get, and then as long as you don't like fall into the trap of getting back into old habits, then you're all right. But
yeah, every once in a while I like a good cigar. So
me too.
That's something that I don't partake in often, but when I do, I really enjoy it.
The thing
it's a little vices, and that kind of what
I was gonna say, the thing about cigars is that they're kind of like golf. It's an expensive sport. It can be. Let me put it that way. It can be a very expensive sport to play week in and week out.
Oh yeah, yeah, it can add up quickly if you're doing it. I mean, everything can be. Alcohol's the same way. Alcohol can be
Oh
very
yeah.
expensive. I mean, all that stuff, all those vices can become very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because that leads us into this week's Women Trouble Wednesday topic,
Mm-hmm.
which is taking as a man taking time for yourself and showing yourself some self care and personal love. Um, but the importance of communicating with your significant other what you're doing. So it's because oftentimes what happens is in most men's lives, they're busy at work when they're working,
Mm-hmm.
and then they come home and their wife is there and she immediately wants to have conversations and talk about her day or ask you to do chores or whatever needs to be done. And it's nonstop, all go all the time. And eventually that wears down on you as a man, because we all need that moment or several moments to recenter and let the day go so you can recalibrate. Sometimes if you have a longer drive, you can do that on the drive home, but it may be important just to sit down and have a conversation with your wife, girlfriend, significant other and say, listen, I need X amount of time every day to decompress. Now, what's going to happen, if you agree to this, is I'm going to be happier, I'm going to be smoother, I'm going to be more willing to help. Like, you can list off the benefits of why you need this time to yourself. And you also need to plan guys trips, where you get out and you do things with other men, to recenter yourself with that masculine energy. So that way, you can perform better as a man for your woman or the significant person in your life, because, we all need that break. And I think that's something that a lot of guys aren't getting as much of as they used to. It makes me think back to caveman times, and earlier times where we'd band together as a hunting party and we go out and hunt and spend the day hunting as men. And then we'd come home, and the women we'd prepare the meat and the women would prepare all the sides and everything else. And we'd sit around and eat as a family and as a tribe. And then, we'd rinse and repeat, but we'd have that break and we'd have that guy time where we get to go out. And now, because we have work environments that are co-gender, we don't really have guy time like we used to, where we could go and just, be guys and be the way that, guys are, because we have to be careful of what we say, how we say it, what we do, how we do it, because we might offend people. So I think we need that in our lives as men. We need that time to ourselves. What are your thoughts?
I mean, my thought is that it's beneficial for women too. I mean, I'm trying to think about it from the other side of the coin too. With
Mhm.
women, it's like they need their time too. I don't Sometimes they don't realize that, but they do need their time. And when their man is out doing their things, that's when they get their me time to go do stuff. Whether it's, they go out with their girlfriends, meet for, a coffee, they go to an event, or whatever it may be that they're doing. Uh, that's their time, to themselves. Because I feel like it's just as important for the women as it is for the guys. So it kind of goes both ways.
Mhm.
The problem is that whether it's a guy or a girl, sometimes you get so wrapped up in being together all the time. You know what I mean? Because that's exactly how my wife and I were early on in our relationship, and we're
Mhm.
starting to like realize, okay, we need to do things, apart. She went and got her lashes done last night. By the way,
Right.
your wife does an amazing job. You know what I mean?
Oh,
But
thanks.
um, so I'm sure she'll love to hear that. But
I trained her well. Wait,
you
what?
have trained her well. I know, because your lashes look amazing. But I love the little flip thing she does on the ends. So, by the way, on
Uh-huh.
yours, they're really cool. But
Yeah,
but that
they're cute. I'm thinking about going longer. I think a little bit longer
you should.
next
I'm thinking
time.
about a quarter inch longer lash. It'll just make your eyes pop.
I want to get
It'll
it
look
just close enough to where it barely touches my glasses. That way it's super annoying. And I'm just
yeah.
like, oh, what is that? What is
It's
that?
I always wondered, sidebar, if women like wear glasses and they get their lashes done, if that doesn't drive them crazy, you know. But I don't know any women that actually wear glasses that have like super long eyelashes.
I don't think they get them that long where it actually interferes with your glasses. I mean, there might be some. I've seen some that have really long lashes,
I've
but
seen some
in the
long ones.
majority, I'm pretty sure that you don't get length that's long enough to where it'll interfere with your eyewear. I'd hope not,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah. So anyway, so back to what I was saying. So I think that it's super important for couples, to get away. Like I said, my wife went and got her lashes done. She was gone for a couple hours, and then she got home. We had dinner, and then we kind of talked for a little bit. I think we watched one show and literally went to bed. So
Wow.
yeah, which is unusual for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, usually in your bed way before that.
Yeah, no, yeah. Hey, I got no shame, man. I'm cool with that. I think
Yeah.
the problem is, again, I know I'm sidebarring again, is that when it comes to sleep and things of that nature, I think the older you get, the more you realize you're really not missing out on much, staying up late. I think that was always been my problem, is that I
I
felt
haven't
like
gotten there yet.
but because I wasn't doing anything really during the day, I thought, "Oh my god, I gotta catch up on all my stuff at night." And then it's like midnight before I go to sleep, where I don't feel like I need that anymore. It's like, "Yeah, whatever, it'll be there tomorrow." You know?
Yeah.
I think
Right.
I think it's a change of thought. But yeah, so getting back to the subject at hand, it's super important for me, especially the older I've gotten, because I always like to do for others, and I always like to, lend a helping hand and all that, that I'm forgetting to give myself my own lending helping hand and taking time for myself mentally to
Right.
get away. So, like, one of the things I brought up on previous episodes is that I've gotten into every hour to hour and a half, I stand up, I go outside, I put my feet in the cold grass or warm grass, depending on what time of day it is, and I walk around barefoot in that grass, and I listen to the trees. I listen to that. I come away with just this me time for just even that little bit, and then.
Right.
But the thing I was missing on, except for that we're coming up in May, is that hanging with other dudes, doing guy stuff. Like, you and I started hiking on Sundays, going out to Carter Road, or maybe even jump around to different parks because it's getting a little bit monotonous for us because we're going to the same place, shooting guns, whatever it might be. I really need that time, away. And I think, but where I lacked was communicating to my wife how much I needed that.
Right.
And she's still getting used to that, honestly. And I mean, guys, your women are gonna struggle at first. If you've never ever done that, you're gonna struggle with it at first, but you just gotta stay the course and just make sure you're communicating like Mike said.
Yeah, I think the important thing is that you just communicate to your wife and tell her what you're doing. And why you're doing it. The why is just as important as the when and the what. Because if you don't explain the why, then they're going to wonder. They're going to make up their own why. Like, oh, he doesn't want to be around me. He doesn't want to be in my presence. He doesn't love me anymore. All the doubt will creep in. But if you explain, hey, listen, this is the things that I need to recenter myself and recalibrate myself, that will make a tremendous difference. I had to deal with that personally because, I've been working out a lot more than I ever have. And I prefer to work out at night because it just is the best time for me, because that's the time of the day that my willpower is the weakest. So that's the time that I could sit down and, binge a Netflix show and just eat a bag of potato chips or, drink, a couple drinks and just sit there and like veg out and because my mind's mentally exhausted from the day's work. My body's wide awake because it's been, we've been sitting most of the day. So I realized real quickly that it was, not beneficial for me to do that. Like it was causing weight gain, lack sleepless nights. I was having all sorts of issues. So I started incorporating a workout routine. And at first it was challenging because that was, my wife was like, oh, you're going to leave for like an hour and a half, to go work out in the gym. And luckily for me, I have a home gym. So I'm on the premises because I could see, if you don't have the luxury of having a home gym, how it could compound that insecurities, because you're now leaving your house for an hour, hour and a half in the evening. And they would be like, okay, was he really going to the gym? Is he going to meet somebody at the gym? Like, there's all these insecurities that could come up, especially when you start seeing a physical difference. If your partner is not putting in the effort to change their physical appearance, or they don't need to change their physical appearance, either or, whatever the thing is, and you're trying really hard, all of a sudden they're like, oh, what changed? Why all of a sudden are you putting in all this effort? Is there somebody new in the equation? Are you trying to impress somebody? Because that's the society we live in now. That's the first thing people think of. Oh, he must be cheating. That's why he wants to improve himself. When the reality of the matter might be is you're just tired of being, a fat fuck, and you don't want to be a fat fuck anymore.
No, that's actually yeah. It's so funny the difference between the genders, man. Because like the first thing they automatically think is that it kind of reminds me of the memes you see like on Instagram and all the other platforms where it shows the guy laid in bed and he's thinking off to the side with his back turned to his woman, and his woman's going, "I wonder if he's thinking about other women," and he's like, "I wonder what it would be if I could fart after a scallop." You know what I mean? It's just dumb guy shit because that's what we, ladies. Listen, we probably 90% of the day think about dumb shit. I mean, like, or talk about dumb shit when we're with our other guys. We very rarely talk about other women. I mean, that's just a fact.
Right.
It's literally just like, hey, man, da, 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 da. It's like Neanderthalic in a way.
Right.
So,
I mean, in reality, if our carnal, desires are being met at home by the woman that we're with, we're really not going to go out and pursue other women. I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get. I mean, there's a rare guy out there that's going to just,
of course,
have sex with whatever he can have
just
sex with.
Just but women do the same thing.
But most guys, when they cheat because they are being, emasculated by their woman. Their woman's constantly riding them and nagging them. She's not having sex with them. She's not doing anything to make his life easier. All she's doing is every day riding him. They're not having any type of physical relationship. Yeah, exactly. Not in a good way. And then eventually he's going to be, upset. Like there's this one Instagram video that really stuck out to me. And it was a guy, he was like, balding. He had the hairline around his head, where like he wasn't very attractive. And his wife was kind of hot. They were older, they're probably in their like my age, like mid-40s. And she was yelling at him. She was like, "Why did you cheat on me? I'm beautiful. I'm way prettier than her. I'm more successful." Like she's listing off all these traits. And he looks at her dead in the face and deadpan and says, "Because she's nice to me. She treats me like a man. She makes me feel good about myself." So that's what it boils down to. Like, it's like if you're not taking care of your man, then that's when men will wander. And I think in this day and age, the same thing will take place for women. Like, if you're not taking care of your woman, then she may wander. I mean, I do believe that there's people out there that have like strong moral codes that won't wander. They'll either suffer through it or they'll get out. But nobody wants to be in that relationship. Nobody wants to be in a relationship where you're suffering through it because that just builds animosity. So it's important to communicate your why. Why are you doing this? I'm not doing it because I want to pick up another chick. I'm doing it because I want to be attractive for my wife. I want to be physically able to be a man and compete and do the things that I want to be able to do later in life, because it's one of the things I'm starting to realize, and I wish I'd realized this a lot sooner, is it's a compounding effect. So basically, you think all day long like, oh, it's fine, I'm like 30, 40 pounds overweight, no big deal. I'm still able to function, I'm doing all the stuff I need to do. I'm doing the lawn, I'm doing this, and this. But then as you get older, it's like you start losing abilities slowly. All of a sudden, like it's you get more winded doing the simple task. Even though you're the same weight, like you haven't gained any extra weight. It's just, the diminishment of time taking away your ability to do things. And then one day you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm like half the man I used to be.
Isn't that a song?
I think so. Maybe you're the song guy, so you would know.
I'm half the man I used to be. Yeah, it was Stone Temple Pilots. Bam. But anyway, go ahead.
Boom. Yeah. So like, it's really important, that you realize that and you start reversing that process. And the way you reverse it is you stay physically active. You do the hard stuff now, so that way you have an easy life later. And I've noticed a huge change in my life since I've started being a lot more physically active. I sleep better. I'm more focused. I'm not as angry or upset. I mean, it's been a while since you called me Angry Mike. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with that, I take an hour and a half every day to work out.
No, you're just a-hole
Yeah.
Mike now.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
just
that's probably all the extra testosterone coursing through my system.
No. Oh,
Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was just
No,
going
I
to
was just gonna I
reiterate
was
what
gonna
you
jump to the
just.
next segue.
Well, before you do, I just was going to say maybe this is a good way to segue out of it. But you said something really, really good because you said it both men and women. But it brings back the old verbiage for me of if you don't take care of business, somebody else will.
Yes.
It's that simple, and it goes for both men and women. If you're not taking care of business, somebody else will. Because, like you said, if the other person's needs aren't being met or vice versa, they're going to find the need somewhere. I'm not saying it's right, but it happens, and I can see why it happens, unfortunately. Right. So, anyway, continue. I just wanted to throw that out there.
So, one of the books that we're reading is Jim Quick's Limitless.
Mm-hmm.
And on around page 130, he talks about when you say yes to somebody else, you need to make sure that you're not saying no to yourself. And that was a really prominent point that jumped out at me. Because, how often do you say yes to things at the sacrifice of yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Like you do things for others and then you give up your time in the gym. You give up your time where you would be working on a project that's important to you. You work out, you give up the time that you could use to rest and work on your future self and your vision because you've committed yourself to someone else, because you've said, yes, I will help you. You're saying no to yourself. So it really resonated with me because I spent a lot of time saying yes to people because I want to be helpful. I want to be involved. I want to be engaged. But I realized that I'm saying no to myself a lot. So that's something that I personally want to work on is realizing the opportunity cost of a decision. And what an opportunity cost does is when you choose something, the opportunity cost is all other options that you could have chosen in that same time frame, like all the other things that you could have done instead of what you chose. And if you start framing your thoughts in that mindset, I think you'll move in a direction that's going to be much more beneficial for you as a person, which will in turn be much more beneficial for all those people around you. Because let's face it, if you're happy, you're more likely to make other people happy. Because you can't you can't pour from an empty cup. So if your cup's completely empty and you're trying to pour, no matter how much effort you put in, nothing's going to come out. So you need to fill your own cup first. And that's all I got to say about that.
I was in a trance. I was just listening to you, man. I was like, all of a sudden I got into a trance. Hey, it's the alcohol.
It's that beautiful monotone voice of mine. Like,
I know. I was just he's
droning on. He's droning on.
Between that and your new lashes, I'm just like, damn, dude.
Honestly, I don't think I could ever get lashes. My wife asked if I could be her test dummy while she was going through school.
Please do.
But I can't. I mean, I tried. I sat down on the table and I saw that thing coming towards my eyeball and I panicked. I was like, I can't do it. I don't know what it is, but some of the most like things that make me squirm is anything that shows a needle or anything heading towards an eyeball. Like there was a game and I can't remember which game it was. I want
to go somewhere with this and I'm going to leave it alone. There's a part of me that wants to get super raunchy and I'm going, Brad, don't. Just don't. Just don't.
Oh, you can. I give you permission.
I can't. I'm stopping. I'm trying to be a better host.
Yeah. There was this game, and I can't remember which game it is, but you literally are laying in a thing, and a thing is coming towards your eye that's interacting with you, and you have to basically your guy's squirming, and you have to like keep your head still. So you have to kind of counter the joystick in the direction he's squirming to keep him still, because if it misses, it kills him. But if it hits perfectly in the middle of the pupil, then it does what it's supposed to do, and life's amazing. But that whole part of the game gave me so much anxiety because I was like, "Oh, this is my worst nightmare right here."
Does this give you anxiety?
Yeah, I don't like that.
I'm touching my eyeball.
Yeah, I know.
See, that shit don't bother me because I wear contacts, so you get used to it. It doesn't bother you. I can literally go like this.
See, See, my eyes already watering just watching you do that. Like,
well, listen, let's get the hell out of here, man.
Yes, sir.
Final thoughts, Mikey, on what we covered today.
Remember to say yes to yourself, because that's important. Remember to communicate your why, that you need time to yourself, and the why that you need to do guy activities, the importance of it. And make sure that your woman's also taking care of herself in the same manner. As a guy, that's part of your responsibilities to make sure that all those around you are also doing well. So that's my final thoughts on that.
Right on, man. Right on. All right, guys, don't forget, head over to thedailybm.com where you can follow us on all of our socials. You can also go ahead and follow us on Rumble. We are now on that platform, and also subscribe to us on YouTube. Mikey, got anything before we get out of here?
No, everybody have a great day. Remember to take a little time for yourself today and go out there and live your best life.
There you go. There you have it. And we'll see you guys on the flip side.
Have a good one.
Deuces.